feel like this is like old school Fran X.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel it. I feel old school Fran X. I feel like
won't mention periods of time. No, it's good. Let's
today. Do you know what we're talking about today, Charles?
Selling more franchises next.
It's always about selling more franchises.
Yeah.
So the topic today, and that's why I said it feels like Fran X, because Fran X used to work like this. You would have no idea what the topic that we were going to talk about. And you would join this conversation. You're like, all right, what are we talking about this week? We're going to talk about franchise sales website essentials.
I just did a podcast with Shayna Denny from Dog Drop. I think her website is amazing.
All right, well let's do this.
And you know what? We had a great conversation, and for everyone watching, definitely check out for the YouTube video. But she brought in so many good insights, and she comes from a tech background. So she's like, Charles, so I sort of approach it like an Apple store of megahertz and memory and what you get. And I love her website.
All right, well let's get to sharing some screens. And for anybody watching live, this is your opportunity too. You want us looking at your website and giving you feedback? We've offered this up before. Put a comment in the chat and say, go check out our website. We'll go look at it live. The whole idea here is to talk about what we see from a branding standpoint. What are the areas of opportunity to really lift up the engine, which ends up being, this is in my opinion, your most important part of lead generation. If I don't understand what I'm buying when I land on your website, the odds of me filling out a form ends up being slim to none. So if you are watching this, you have questions, or you want additional answers, or you want us to pull up your website, use the commenting feature. Also, we're just a few days away from locking off registration for Fran Camp Dallas. We have 50 franchisors who are going to that, which we're very, very excited for. If you can't make Dallas, we have New Jersey in June, Chicago in September, and Miami in December. Each Fran camp is different. They are all different camps. So if you have not registered, I would encourage you to do so. New Jersey, I think we only have like 25 seats left. Like, they're going fast. Yeah. So if you want to get into this, go ahead and go get registered quickly.
Yeah, and think about coming to Dallas, because that's kicking it off for the year. That's our X factor.
By the way, that could be my favorite comment ever on here.
I love Dan.
Charles does beat up Dan's website a lot.
No, and Dan's taking action. So yeah, think about coming to Dallas. It's a good kickoff for the year in terms of X factors and boot camp. So I spoke with Shayna Denny on our podcast, who, from behind the scenes, I've always admired what she's doing with her brand, emerging franchisor startup. She's in a good, and we had a great conversation, and drawing on some of her advice, I love, and I'm paraphrasing, she was sharing how she views her website and her team. One comment she made is, don't undersell what you provide, right? And they're very thoughtful about mission and goals and very clear on their purpose. But it really took a lot from me when she said, don't undersell what you provide. And to me, if you look at her website, you could see a very thoughtful franchisor who's not just saying we're in the dog daycare. You could see they're tech-driven. They have a custom technology stack. You could see their focus on certain KPIs like membership and recurring revenue. And they're answering questions about how we help you succeed. So I found the website really immersive. Why don't we start the top?
I was at the top. I mean, let me just look through the bottom. Here's what's missing. I think the structure of the site is beautiful, by the way.
It is beautiful.
But there's nothing about the founder story. Some of the fundamentals that you say, which when you're doing your podcast, you back off and don't give that. It's only when you're in the back of the car that you rip Dan's website to shreds. You're on a podcast, you're probably like, this is the most beautiful site ever.
You know what? It's a good point on the founder. Let's go. But just go up a second, Nick. What I like about the headline is it's not saying the word franchise in it. Complete solution. So they're definitely focused. They're very tech driven to start and grow your dog daycare. So it's not buy a franchise. You're going to grow a dog daycare. And it's also somewhat being focused on transformation in terms of Pioneer.
Yeah.
And they're throwing up part of their uniques in terms of their end-to-end system. I guess visually, I really like it because rather than just saying we training and support, they're showing dashboards. And that to me, that moved me.
Well, can I be the critical one on this stuff?
Yeah.
And then, okay. Like that thing was like piling through so fast. Like I want to see what it is.
Yeah.
But end-to-end system. So I'll tell you what this feels like they're selling. And I'm going to look at this. I'm going to play counter on this. It doesn't mean I'm saying they're not doing some things right. This feels like a tech or consultancy business, not a franchise. And because when you're saying like end-to-end system, it looks like a POS system that you're selling. Reoccurring revenue. Yes, of course. Like if you have membership, you're going to have recurring revenue. But what does that mean? Streamline operations. That sounds great. Every franchisor says that. But at the top here, a complete solution to start and grow your dog daycare. That's almost like you're eliminating the franchise from it. And so you can see there's nothing about a franchise really here in a 2.0 franchise model that prioritizes innovation, efficiency, and growth. I think every brand does that. So I think you're right. This is a beautiful website, but to the end user, it still doesn't. The gap that trips everybody up when they get to these websites is what is franchising. And here, this almost confuses me more because it feels like it's a tech company that's going to show. Like if I own a doggy daycare, I hire them to help convert it.
That's fair. And Shayna's the very thoughtful and genuine, I think, business leader and founder. So I think a founder video would do great there. I think her the conversation we had was pretty amazing.
See, like this is a headline, a dog daycare built specifically for franchising. That is almost better for a YUI now. Like then she's talking about how she built a dog daycare first, but really every decision she made before she franchised it was with franchising in mind. And then you think about like, well, how? Like, so this headline is even like higher because how do you build it for franchising? You build it for franchising with a small footprint, the ongoing revenue stream, and they only do daycare, no overnights. Like you see, like that's how you built this for franchising. Yeah, Adam said that should be the title. I agree on that.
Which one should be the title?
Dog daycare built specifically.
Look, as you read it, I love it. I mean, and I think part of the journey, like when I'm speaking with Shayna and our clients, and I even know for myself as our firm, what I love about what she's doing is they're doing it, they're thinking, they're introspective, whereas we're not get frustrated, but like I'm rooting for certain brands and I'm like, they work with some advisors and the brand gets stuck. And Shayna and I were talking about how one of her lessons was, as founders, you really need to direct your brand, your purpose, what you are. It just can't reflect what other people think you are. So, I mean, you see, like they're putting a ton of thought into this. I'm a fan, Nick.
I agree from a visual, like the branding is beautiful. I mean, when you get into that, I mean, again, another big opportunity here. I don't know if we show an item 19, but cost wise, like that is a good cost for comparison. Can I show you another site?
Yeah, please. Let's go.
Let's do Floyd's Barbershop. I found this, like, I mean, it's a little ballsy to do this, but look at this.
What does the small print say there?
We're down here.
Yeah.
Graph is based on each company's 2024 franchise.
No, I mean the small print under 2023. I can't.
Revenues for Floyd's and its franchise competitors. Floyd's is the revenue leader among franchise haircutting and care.
Well, I mean, if they could back that up, right?
Yeah, those are true numbers. It just shows you a sense, because like, I mean, that's where you start piecing together all of these things into one place. Like the collective, the collective of all these sites is good.
So let's think about that. So now, and again, I think it could also have to do with different stages of the journey as a franchisor, right? Where you're focused and stuff.
We have a website to look at.
All right, but before we leave Floyd's, I mean, so they're focused on their revenue model, right, and their financial performance, which I think. Okay, yep, this is one of our.
Okay, so I mean, we're on the franchise site,
And they haven't launched yet. And by the way, so when we get to founders inside story here, the founders here are very charismatic and very genuine.
I want them to come build out our office. This looks really cool.
Yeah.
But here's why I always give this complaint when I get to a website. I think the brand, again, like the brand looks beautiful. But I hate when I see a picture with no people. Like we're selling a business that should be packed with humans. So an empty footprint changes, and a beautiful opportunity is not a why you or why now.
Well, but let's stop with the beautiful. Let's go back to beautiful opportunity. So again, now think about it. This is a soon-to-be franchisor who's already thinking ahead, right? But what the beautiful opportunity? So many consultants and companies just come up with these one-liners, and so it's a good starting point. But now we need transformation and a one-liner as to what the business is.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a disrupt. I've never seen this before, but I assume it's going to be a disruptor in the mani and pedi world. So it's the nail salons. Watch out, right?
Well, and I think where many sites lose track, and we reviewed one that is. Go back up, Nick. I don't know if I'm just on this headline, right? Of course, we want a founder video in a corner or something there, but we don't have a one-liner about what the opportunity is, right? So beautiful opportunity really doesn't say anything. We want a transformative headline, as in terms of what franchisees are going to experience, but then a one-liner about what the brand's about, what the business is. You agree with that?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I see clean freaks. I'm like, I like that. That sounds cool. We're a bit obsessive about the safety and cleanliness of our studios. We always have been. This is where like sometimes the messaging is built into other things. I think we're a bit obsessive about the franchisees who are going to join our system, or we're a bit obsessive about the franchise culture. Like you can start taking some of this content. We've always been in the business of clean. Love that. I mean, look, again, like the branding looks beautiful. What we've always done. Okay, so watch this. Like, and this is me just clicking around. What we've always done. Love that. Let's see if that what we've always done translates over onto the site. Like I would take what we've always done. Like that's such a beautiful slide over here. That's such a beautiful slide. I would take that onto the franchisor site.
So on the franchisor site, as an example,
COVID related.
Nick, as an example, on the franchisor site, what's your headline?
What's the headline on the franchisor site?
Yeah.
Let's see. Like that. That's not it. This I like. That's exactly what we were just talking about on Dog Drop. Is they perfected the franchise before franchising.
Right.
We spent over a decade perfecting what we do. We're family-run business. Love that. We're creating unique, memorable experiences. There's something in there. Oh, it's blowout. Okay, so that's where I was assuming it was just a nail salon, but the blowout components in here. I like, you're basically saying you don't have to, for Charles can't get a blowout. I can still get a blowout. But you're saying like you're gonna, it's a one-stop shop. So you as a busy female, most likely, Charles, you go get a blowout. You just leave us to go get a blowout. No, you really did leave. I think to the busy person, you're solving an issue. So that's the problem that you solve for the consumer. Big deal there. That I like that one. Opportunity, disrupt, and lead.
Now, how do you feel about the numbers there, though?
Let me see.
I did.
I mean, that's just industry numbers.
Right. So like pause a minute, right? So the disrupt and lead, why not just maybe we pull from item 19, but there too, why not have a video with the founders just talking about that model, right? And different parts of, what they've built.
Well, look, that's what we keep talking about is that like the miss, and like if you and I said,
That's good.
let's list out our 3 biggest misses that exist in a franchise website. It's going to be the people story, explaining what franchising is so that you understand what franchising is. What would be the third thing that is pretty consistent?
I think it's culture and team, no?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So
Right. So here you have, so now on going back to the last website, that founder story about the business, the model, not selling it, but the passion behind it and what we've always believed that we believe, and this is why we created. I think that's the home run. Clarity on the business model. Also, I think on that site too, if it's blowouts and manicures, let's be more honed in on, that component, which is going to get to, marketing, staffing, service delivery.
I love clean freaks. I think that's an interesting thing.
Okay. Look how beautiful the brand is, by the way.
Brand is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
So, okay, here's the cost. I mean, look at this. What's fascinating there? The 2 brands that we're looking at right now. It's virtually the same investment.
Mm-hmm.
2 beautiful brands solving 2 issues. But what you just said is team and culture. Like, where is it? Okay, so if we take these 3 sites, no team here. I don't know who the team is. We talk about support. No, don't know who the team is. Here, don't know who the team is. Here, don't know who the team is. And so, oops, not that one. This one. Like, I'll show you. I mean, this isn't going to be perfect, but pigtails and crew cuts. I should become a franchise owner in the booming children's haircut space. We're a community franchise. Many parents have turned into business owners. That's calling out. Video from the CEO explaining what it is. But here, like, what is franchising? There's a video that explains from their leader what franchising is. And then you look at the team so that you start seeing a team behind you. They're all connected to LinkedIn so that you can go connect with them. So again, not the perfect site. Here's our newest franchise openings, our signings and our openings that are coming to show supply and demand. What our salons look like so that you can get a sense of what it looks like. Meet our franchisees, what's their stories, content. So it's not like it's a perfect example of it. And again, like I think that the branding on all 3 of these is quite beautiful.
It is top notch.
But it has to have those other components because the franchise buyer says, I buy because of culture and business opportunity.
Right. So I take away, I guess, from Maine and Manny, right? Refine, but I think the founders will knock it out of the park.
It's a great looking kite, converts well on, Adam said it converts well on mobile. Starting to see companies going to single page franchise and say, what are the pros and cons around this model? Pros end up being cost and development time, obviously. And the candidate right now is saying they spend time outside of your website. So if you were to change the way that you look at the structure of your franchise opportunity is what's on site and what's off site, more so your digital footprint. There's so much noise that happens away from the website. And so when that noise away from the website is helping drive people back to the website ends up almost being the place where you fill out the form more than anything else.
And this is your expertise, not mine, but I think about it all the time. Like, there's going to be a time where people don't use URL addresses, right? And, with AI and all these other things that websites, it seems to me the trend is more toward a single page now. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're right. I mean, the multi pages, if you're trying to get real estate developers in, you have other objectives. Obviously, blogs are news. Adam said, "Sites are beautiful. Are they answering the question that people are looking?" I actually think this is pretty good. Do I need a license?
Right.
How much is the royalty? How much is brand development fund?
Nick, bear with me for a second here. And this doesn't apply to Main and Manny, but my biggest frustration, I think every consultant advisor, when they do copy for a website, they think it's somehow beneficial, say the numbers, and then the numbers turn out to be the royalty rate I'm going to pay the franchisor or the brand development fund fee, but it's nothing about the investment.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you.
Right. And so I do think when developing websites, I mean, if you align with your economic opportunity, right? Are we lifestyle, supplemental income replacement, legacy building? Whatever it is, I'm not saying that's your whole website's geared toward it, but you need to answer that question. How are you a supplemental income business, income replacement, without saying those words, right? Demonstrate. Yeah. What I like about Dog Drop is I feel like there's real technology behind the company.
Yeah, I don't, but tech stack is only one thing that is going to go into it.
But think about it this way too. Think about Dan and Garage Floor Company. I mean, you're talking very thoughtful founders, and we've talked about founder story and other things, but getting back to the point of not underselling what you offer, even for a company that does garage flooring, shouldn't you have at least information about that tech stack, how the estimates go out, and what that support can look like, even if it's not your proprietary tech stack?
Yeah.
Do you agree or no?
I agree. Let me show you another trick. It's such a simple trick, and this goes back to Adam's question. Main and Manny is going to be a new one, so they're not there. Let's see. Let me just see, because we have Floyd's up. If they have FAQs, no FAQs. Okay, so for Dog Drop, they don't have FAQs, but I like doing this. I just typed in Dog Drop franchise, because what are people asking is such an easy insight.
Yeah, it is good.
So how much does it cost to start a dog daycare franchise? How much is a dog house franchise? What is the largest dog daycare franchise? How many dogs can you have in doggy daycare? And if you click on this, it'll start creating more drop downs. But this is Google's feeding up the insight. So
yeah, that's really good. Could you do that with Main and Manny?
The Main and Manny doesn't have anything because
then Garage, yeah, Garage flooring.
We can do Garage flooring franchise. Is an epoxy floor business profitable? How much does it cost to put a flooring in a garage? What does it cost?
I mean, it's just a whole content roadmap. I love that.
Yeah, it's all here. And
I love
that. Like, you can go on a run here to get all these. Adam said he's developing short videos. Here. We're developing short form video FAQs. I like the short form video, Adam, but obviously, if you look like trying to get one of these AI answers on here, like what is a franchise? I mean, I'm going to try getting something simple. There you go. So like the FAQs, you're going to see them start appearing here. And I don't know if I can show you an example of like what we're trying to transform here. Let's see if I can find a deep dive that we have one. We'll try. Not that one. Let's see if I can find a deep dive, because this will give you an insight, because we're taking some of those insights and trying to put it to work. Let's see, franchisor story. Let's try Sea Love. Yeah, there you go. So we're trying to guide it through this, and then Paris. Let's see, Paris Baguette. Let's see if we have it on there. Just because the written word seems to be appearing more. See if we have it on this guy. There we go. So we're adding FAQs as much as possible, and we're taking those insights. So how much does a Paris Baguette cost? Is Paris Baguette profitable? Who owns Paris Baguette? Which is the most profitable food franchise? How many Paris Baguette franchises are there? And because we're starting to answer these, now they're optimizing the pages. So love that you're doing the videos. I would just include the written form as well.
Nick, the connecting the dots here a little. So Brand Camp Dallas X Factor challenge, the greatest, or at least the challenge that they have to overcome for growth this year. How do you think, what we're discussing here and now, right? And we're going to create actionable plans each brand. But I mean, I think I overdo it on this topic, but a X factor may be aligning the websites. But to me, if your website's not aligned, it's not because you had a bad design, or it's because I think as leadership team, you haven't dove deep into what you're doing or your purpose, right?
Yeah, but nobody has. I mean, that, like, as much as we want brands to do it, no brand has. Like, I don't think we could find one brand that really has. But again, like, the website is
actually, why don't you do this? Go to my website. I could criticize stuff right out of the gate, right? I want to hear what you say.
Which website? Which
franchiselawsolutions.com. Right. And so what do you see here?
You sure you want me to do this?
Yeah.
Well, Win at Franchising sounds like you're a franchise consultancy. Like, protect your franchise entity, or protect your franchise is more of what you do. I love Win at Franchising as a term, but if I'm a novice and I'm landing on here, obviously I know it says Law Solutions at the top, so I'm playing through this on how I could look at this critical way. National franchise law firm specializing in franchise law development. For emerging brand, I'm not going to understand what that is. Compliance, very important. Like, it's almost national franchise law firm specializing in compliance franchise law. The growth services is tough. Obviously, there's an extension here, and then you have start a franchise, grow your franchise. But now, are you an FSO? And the reality on this form, it's like we've helped brands franchise for 25 years. Well, what's the call to action? I can't click on anything.
Right.
Here.
Okay. Yeah.
I love the testimonials here, but you can see what they're all telling you is that it's really they go. So you have all this thing on how the value of your team is. That's all they're talking about, the value of your team. So the next thing, you're like, let me give you more brands. Now you're talking about building a winning franchise system, but where is your team? Let's see where your team is. No team. And that's all these people just said. Grateful for a great team. They position your brand to win. And so they said this, and now you're saying, like, we specialize in franchise law. They're saying the team is great. They represent 300 brands, great. But to build a winning franchise, like, it's almost like your team needs to be in here, because that's what all your clients just said, your magic pieces. I think this is Explore Growth Services. So we'll go over here, specialized franchise services.
This needs to be redone. This is hard.
But now we're back to legal, and this is about growth. So
right.
For new franchisors, let's get into here. Franchisor business, love this. This is fantastic. You're giving, and I think you know this is the magic of what you do. Franchisor business the right way. Okay, so what are the steps to franchising the right way? So I think franchise your business the right way means make smart decisions, legal decisions that align to your FDD so that you're protected. Make sure your FDD is telling the best brand story ever. Because I think that's what a lot of franchise law firms miss. They don't think of the story that the FDD tells. It's already an intimidating document. Franchise development, our legal and franchise development team will lead the way in developing your building a baseline. Lead the way in developing your building a baseline for exploring and evaluating your business model. I understand the need for the words,
Right.
but franchise development is like, we take your hard work idea and turn it into a scaling franchise opportunity. Like, that's ultimately what you do. I agree on all this stuff you do, and if Dan's still watching, this is exactly the kind of stuff that you talk to with him. Legal protection, FDD development. This is important. So this slide, I would almost move to this is on this form of the site. Like, this is almost a page. Actually, all this I would almost move that. I would clean up the content here, but I would almost move this to the main part of your franchise website. This aligns everything. And then all of these I would make clickable into another landing page that could just be simply you on a video, because you've done so many videos that do this. Learn franchising. I love this. Resources. I would call that out right here, learn franchising, because you've done such a, that's a huge resource. But learn franchising, I don't know which one that falls under, but Win Big at Podcast. No, learn franchising. That's for that. So then you break it into, let's call it 3 tiers. Learn franchising. That's really for businesses that want to become a franchise. Scale from 1 to 100. Okay, what will that take? And you have a point of view on it, but you obviously have to have a strong legal entity. And then go from 100 to exit. And there's different components that you do in each of these. Like, going from 100 to exit means that item 19 better tell a great story so that you can keep getting more in, and that item 19 better align back to the cost to get in. It's almost like where your consultancy comes from. So,
Hey, good advice, Nick. So, but some of these, by the way, we're going to watch this back later and go through our website. But I think that's the point for the franchisors, for all of us. The reason I asked you to do that was I could be very critical of websites, and yet mine needs a lot of work, right? And so the idea is that it's a continuous process. We're all on this journey. And the one thing I could share from seeing so many brands, don't get stuck. Just keep going and adapting. The brands I see that get stuck, their website, again, I'm not just talking, it looks the same 2 years after they franchised. And it's that learning process, right, that we're all struggle with. And that exercise just really showed how, it's much easier to pinpoint what other people are not doing. And then following my own advice, there's definitely weaknesses. So that's the point of Frank Camp, though, with sharing this. And guys, we're just going to keep building up. So when I'm at Frank Camp, these are the things I'm going to be focused on.
Okay, here's my butt. Did your business grow last year?
Yes.
Right. So I just called out 100 things that your website could be better at. And that's why I keep saying, the website, the value of the website is diminished. And here's why. Website's in the center, but if I break down your business as an example, you have your YouTube noise that you're creating. So that's around the web. That's another noise bucket. You have your presence at franchise expos. It has a beautiful brand that creates a noise. You have your email newsletters, Fran Camp, obviously, that we share together. And so when you look at your website, is going to be a term, in my opinion, that goes away. It's going to be your web footprint is the term that gets elevated, because it's the collective drives someone in here that I go in here and I click the button, get a quote on your website. That's the call to action. So that's where, as much as I want the websites to have much more brand story, it's really to push the ghost over the edge and get the ghost to fill out the form so that they stop being on the sidelines. But it's the totality of your web footprint is essential to the activity that happens on your website, which that's why I said, is your business growing? The answer is yes.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. I use, and I agree that about the role, and there's limitations for the website, but I use the website as a proxy for how clearly we're focused on our vision. And so if we're lacking clarity on the website, so say a broker, a franchisor on the website is lacking clarity as to who they are, what makes them unique. Is it, founder story, culture, KPIs, and our system for how we help you do it, right? If there's clarity on that, then there's going to be clarity when there's conversations with brokers. There'll be clarity in the franchise discovery process. There'll be clarity in the conversations. Whereas if there's confusion on the website on those basics, I feel like that's going to bleed through into everything else.
That's true.
Right? That to me is like, again, garage floor. Like, who doesn't want to have a conversation with, like, you're not going to want to buy a franchise from people you wouldn't want to have a drink with or a cup of coffee with, and those are those guys, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right. But if without the other noise, like, that's why, like, the website is an X factor, but without the other noise, your traffic doesn't increase, and you want the traffic to the right people. Adam said, one comment, should the top ribbon bar follow you as you go down the page? It can't. I mean, like, ultimately, I think it can. I don't think it makes or breaks it, and it depends on where the user is coming from. My experience is the majority of qualified candidates, I can say, for our business, end up filling out the form on desktop when they're at work.
Did you get Nick? Oh, she left. I was going to ask her if she got your comments, if she's watching.
I love that you're making Melissa go fix things.
No, it gets dark, and this is all natural light. I didn't make her. She does it herself.
Nobody asked about it being dark or it being light. Is that your new topic?
Oh, she updated the typo already, Nick, on the website.
You're welcome. I charge $800 an hour, like the internet.
We're gonna give you Frank Camp dollars.
That's great. I like Frank Camp dollars.
Yeah. All right. So Texas X Factor. If it, again, the events are great, and these are definitely lessons. We're going to be focused on going over your brand fundamentals, those KPIs, what's been going on with the brand. So every brand's going to baseline. We're going to focus on what are some of the small fires that need to be put out, and what is that X fire that we need to solve in 2025 to reignite the campfire, get it raging there.
Well, and for anybody watching that has not registered for Frank Camp, this is the kind of conversation that we want to have at Frank Camp. Like, this is the kind of breakout. Like, Dan got it bad in the back of the car from Charles, but like, these kind of conversations are transformation conversations, So go sign up. Don't wait. Don't be late. It's franchise event of the year, as named by 1851 franchise.com. See you guys.